record. Okay, so this is day 2 of week 3, and I just want to look at some of the options we've got, some of the free things, and you got to be careful when someone gives something free, right? Eventually, you're going to have to start paying for it if you like it. But the free domains. So you get a free domain. Namecheap usually is free. Look at that. Oh, if it's a .me, it's free. But we had this question: how much does it cost after? So the .name, that's one. There's another one. Oh, name.com. This is another one. I'm going to put this into the chat. Name.com, GitHub student, and then you get a free domain, but Clay mentioned that that's going to be, okay, it's free. You can get a Ninja one. Look at those. It's only free for a year, and then what's it going to be? So in order to find out, let's go to name.com. And what is it regularly? If I open an incognito window and I'll just go to name.com and I'll just go to Boris the professor.ninja. How much is that? $30. What is just .com? $20. Something like .net. A little high. Renewal. Yeah, these are some of, yeah, watch out. So
Ross,
get one that's, yeah.
with
Oh, I'm not sharing.
name.com, I think
Yep.
you can just put the domain, like you don't have to put .net and it'll give you the price of everything else.
Ah, there we go. Thanks. Can you all see it
Yeah.
here? .game is really expensive. So what if it's, yeah, okay. So let's look at other ones. So there's name.com, and then there's the tech. Let's try tech. Tech domains. Hmm, that one. And let's see how much that costs. Or is the and nobody. Well, let's see. So there's $50. Renews at 50. Yeah. So if you want to get it for free anyway, just to practice for the class, do that. I think Namecheap, I would guess that Namecheap would be the cheapest because it's called Namecheap. Let's see. Mhm. And if I can get for like something .me, .me. Where's the .me? No, not me. .me. .me. Doesn't have one. I don't know. Why isn't it not giving me the me's?
Because at the top
Oh,
in
there it is.
bold.
Uh, oh, look. Well, its retails at 20. Huh. I wonder if that's the renewal rate. If I put in that, what does it do? Renews, oh, only first year. Yeah, you got to be careful off the first year. Um, and so for you, that would be free for the first year. But then if you really like it, it's going to be, yeah. So what you all can do is if you are okay with losing it after a year, you could just get one of these and you can just practice with that one. Just be sure to cancel it. Don't put on auto renew. Okay. So Otherwise, you'll be stuck with a higher bill. And if you really want to keep it and you want to pay, you could search for a non-free one. But these are free. And I do want to show you how to connect a domain. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And Clay's already connected his domain. So, all right. So maybe give me a thumbs up if you'd like to get a domain and learn how to connect it. Um, later on, not today, but yeah. So try to figure that out. Get your domain first, and we will we'll work on how to manage the domain. And what happens is that domain is going to be used to look up an IP address. So actually, to show off Clay's thing a little bit, you see that number. Um, it's a DNS, right, Clay?
Come again?
That is the same. The DNS lookup. So I'm gonna put this here. It's you gotta that this is the same as this. Does that make sense? You see that? Thumbs up if you see that. Yeah. And so what that is DNS, domain name service or server. What happens is computers and routers, or is it routers? They see this thing. They don't know anything about that. Like the computer doesn't know that. And anybody know like this is 107, this is 216, this is 101, this is 56. It's four numbers. Does anybody have a guess as to the highest number each of these can be? You got it? And what else is that the highest number of? RGB values. Not me. Yeah, RGB values, right? Auto-corrected that. Why is that? Well, that's 2 digits of hex. It's 16 times 16. So it's 16 times 16, and another 16 times 16, another 16 times 16, another 16 times 16. So the total number of them is 16 times 16 8 times, because there's four of them. Does that make sense? 16 to the eighth, or 256 to the fourth. And just so happens that there are 256 tablespoons in a gallon. Thumbs up if you knew that little fun fact. So it's a 2 to the 8th. So anyway, these numbers are like this number could also be written just like the RGB values, like a FF would be 255, right? And 00 is obviously 0, and 10 is 16, because it's base 16. So it could be written that way, or it can be written as digits. Just some fun facts. Anyway, my point is this is all computer. This is what the computer sees. And this is what we see, and that's converted by the DNS. And so there's some kind of hosting service that you look up, or that your computer looks up, and then it finds the IP address, and Clay put it in put this value in. Okay, what is it called? Um, a value? Is it the A or triple A? Not triple A. I think it's the A in the
Oh, I'm sorry, a
well,
record. I thought I was on. I
A
thought I was
record.
on.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, the A record, right?
yes.
Yeah. So in your interface, you're going to say, well, I suppose you have some kind of interface on there. You're going to say, well, this one, if you're going to say that, so you own this, right? You own this, and then we'll say, like, API that goes to this number, right? The A record is going to go to that one.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I want to see if I can send it to you.
Do you want to see it, or do you want to?
I don't
I
know
don't know
if
if
I
there's
let
anything.
me see what information it shows.
Yeah, you don't have to show it if you got some information on there. But that's how this is how it all works. And so when you do 127.0, I'm sorry, 127.0.0.1, that's the universal number for your own computer, like wherever you are, just to loop back to your own computer. And if you want to do it localhost, that's the universal one for 127.0.0.1. So that's how it all works. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the AWS section. All right. I just thought that was kind of neat. Um, oh, hey there, Isaac and Sally. Okay. So while Clay brings that up, let me ask you to think of maybe you could share with me yeah, share with me any what kind of progress have you been making so far on our on our on our guided lesson here? I'll bring it up. Alrighty, this is this one. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm calling this Boris the Professor. So that's what I was looking up. Um, so this introduction to microservices, hopefully you're all able to access that. Let me share this again. This is what we were working on yesterday. Let me know what level you're on. Okay, three. What's that one? Okay, create the account. We may have some time to work on that. Um, and if you want me to, yeah, I'd like to you to share with me any issues. If you only got to three, you probably haven't run into any issues yet. But if you've gotten any further along, any blockers yet, um, and would you like me to do some more demo on this thing? I can talk about the later levels. I think I talked quite extensively on kind of the overview. So I think it'd be better for you to really get your hands dirty and try to figure out. Okay, yeah, yeah, you can go ahead and try to figure out you got uh, try to figure out what's going on with this. I'm hoping there isn't. I'm afraid there might be a little bit too much of these show me things, but oh, okay, yeah, we could uh we could pause it if you'd like. So give me a thumbs up if you want me to pause it. Um, or not. Yeah, you don't have to show because it's the kind of personal information. Doing API calls. Oh yeah, okay. Doing the API calls. trying to filter them. Hmm. So only certain params can pop up. Let's take a look at Postman. I should share the whole screen here. I'll keep that. And get to Postman. I'm going to stop share so I can share the whole screen. Getting ready to hook up mine to my REST server. Yeah, that would be fun. Um, okay, let me share. I'll just share the whole thing. And looking for Postman. So let's see. A proof of life. No wait. So I guess let's go with Ty's part here. And this is something that Isaac says you're kind of close to. When I do this, I get a whole bunch of data, right? I get all the days and stuff. And when you say filter out the data, there's a couple ways to look at that, right? You could filter out the data by messing with the visual crossing API. Or you could just grab all the data and in your code, you can kind of filter out and just grab, you can kind of do a search for the right day. So you can see if your date is in that daytime. And it's kind of like a for loop filter or a find. And that could be a blocker. That's a really tricky thing. That's one of those patterns or one of those kind of an algorithm. I wonder, Ty, which one did you mean you're doing? Were you trying to
So
fiddle with the URL or
yeah,
looking at the data?
I'm sorry. I was just trying to get, you know how like when we're working with pixels and stuff like that, we were able to get only a certain parameters to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I was just messing around with it just to try to see. But I did forget that you can just pull what you want to pull into your project like that instead of trying to do it in Postman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can like maybe it's probably more efficient to do it the way you're doing. Try to figure out a way to just get the date that you want. But maybe visual crossing does not provide that. They'd say, why would you just want one day? So they're going to give you the whole 15-day forecast, no matter what you do. And that's where you have this extra step. It's kind of like the Pokemon. No matter what you do, you're going to get all the data about the Pokemon. And if you don't care you don't care about like every single like front and back sprite and the shiny sprite and this sprite and that sprite, it doesn't matter. It's going to give it all to you. So you have to uh, kind of manage that. Um, and, you can use some different patterns. And the good old filter pattern or a find, similar to that, you're going to be you're going to have to you're going to have to check this date. So that's a hint. You're going to look at the days and you're going to try to figure that out. So that may be actually pretty um, a significant bit of coding for you to figure out how to get that. So it may take a little bit. So keep in touch about that. If you're able to just figure out just get that day. Um, but you will be able to use some of the patterns that we talked about. And filter, you could use filter just to get the one. It's similar to filter. Uh, so we can talk about that once you get stuck, if you get stuck on that. Yeah,
Okay, dokie.
yeah. Thanks for sharing that one. Um, later on, what are we looking at? Anyone else share theirs? Let me see. Okay. I'm seeing if anyone else wants to have a question. Yeah, Clay's not. Looks like you're plowing ahead, so that's good. Um, and if this goes well, either this week or next week, I am going to have you um, make a event component, not an event component, but an event table that is going to um, have a relation or a connection to um, the meal table. So every event has a bunch of meals. Uh, and the the technical term for a bunch is actually many. So it's a has many relationship. An event has many meals. And we're going to talk about that for sure next week. And we're also going to talk about um, TypeScript with that. But if you get done with this, we may start a little bit on um, um, later this week. Okay, one of my blockers was putting, yeah, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so one of your blockers was putting index in the wrong place, and package couldn't find it to run my server. But that is a really good description of it, so I'm glad you could debug that. If you want to, you can always put it in source. Oops, sorry. That's an image. That's a not a folder. Make a folder. You can make a source folder. You can put index in there, and then you'd have to change this src slash. You could do something like that. So watch out for that. And then it'll work again. So as you get kind of more familiar with this package.json file, you'll see this is the command it runs for start, and this is the command it runs for dev. So for dev, you can always just run it plain like that. Oh, I can update my node daemon. Or you can run it using the npm wrapper that will npm run dev. It goes over here, it finds dev, and it runs this. And that's how it works. All right, so let's yeah, so thank you for sharing that blocker. Um, let me see. Do you want to do more code demo, a little more code demo, or would you like to do just start working and then I can actually have a couple of meetings with you if you want to do your what's called the badge meeting. Remember the badge meeting that we were supposed to do? And we have to get through some of those. Um, maybe give a thumbs up if you are ready for your badge meeting. Um, oh yes. Oh yeah, Ty did yours. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ty was the one who did it on Friday. Yeah, that's right. And so the badge meeting is just show me the REST server with the Supabase connection that we did last week. So you were supposed to turn in that on Sunday. Um, and so you turn in the assignment, and then the badge meeting is when you just talk about it and demo it out and get Postman up and running. Then we can like, yeah. So why don't maybe we'll do that? Oh, go ahead, Clay.
I don't know if you saw, excuse me, one of my projects from last week. I had submitted it, but I renamed my project, and I went in yesterday
Oh, mhm.
to rename it. And when I saved it, it said your assignment was submitted 17 hours late. So it's showing
Oh,
as a,
okay. Yeah, that's okay.
okay, because I got to do that with this one now. I just
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
see if that was
Oh,
going to be
because you
okay.
changed you got a domain kind of.
No, no, I just renamed it instead of it just
Oh,
being,
okay.
I wanted to put back end on it.
Got it. Yeah, I think I can see, all the submissions, so yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of funny if you but that's just how Moodle works. Um, why don't we do that then? So why don't we just go maybe for 10 more minutes because that's when our break comes. And then the second hour, maybe for an hour and a half, I can try to meet with everybody here if we can and do that badge meeting. And then we have this new thing called a badge, and you're supposed to be able to share it on uh, LinkedIn and things like that. I'm not sure if they have it quite set up, but they're sort of like mini certifications in a way that we're doing. Um, so let's go maybe talk for another 10 minutes about I'll just maybe just open up the code. What's the code's already open here? And we can discuss something about our lesson here. Um, I got the key. Any questions about this header thing? Maybe we could talk a little bit about this header thing. And this header thing would be really cool for Clay to play with because the headers have a whole bunch of stuff. I think it even I'm not sure if you can certainly get your IP address and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if that's in headers or in a different place. But if you console.log rec.headers, you get some interesting things. And if Clay were to console log it, he would get interesting things about our like server, about our browsers. So there's all sorts of things that gets put on the headers. And I don't know if you want to play around with that. Every website you get, in fact, they can fingerprint your browser using headers and other things. Um, like I said, there's a way to get the IP address. I forget exactly how to do that. But this headers is a lot of fun. It's something you should know about. So I'm going to put that in here. I'm just going to console log the headers, rec.headers. And let's see what comes out. And Clay, if you want to dig into headers and figure out some interesting things, like you can figure out like the browser that we're using.
Yeah, I saw, um, what was it when I sent you it the first time? Uh,
Uh-huh.
the Friday night, at 11 o'clock. I saw where you logged in, oh, where you hit my server to,
You're logging it out.
yeah, the reason why I knew because you're logging in from, it said Safari.
Oh, okay. So it was the Mac user, right? Let me
Yeah.
see. So if I send that
It's on there
from,
too.
yeah, you can see. Oh yeah, because Ty is also a Mac user.
All
So
right.
I sent a request from Postman. Let's see what the. Let me see. Oh, am I not running? I'm not running. Okay, I'm getting running again. So from Postman, I'm gonna do that, and I get that. This is just the dummy data I have here, and I print that out. So before that, before all that, I printed out my headers. Okay, I got all this player here. Let me see. There are some headers. So you can see my headers from Postman are kind of minimal here. Oh, there's the host, right? So I can get the host here. And then there's the accept encoding, what is accepted. And then it inserts a Postman token and stuff. Okay. Oh yeah. And so did you log out the headers? So if I log in from an actual browser, so if I log in, you can see actually a whole bunch of, so if I take that and I put it in my browser, and let's see, if I put that from my browser, you're going to get a whole bunch more headers. All right, let me see. Okay, so it says not authorized, obviously, because I put in the, what's all this stuff? Oh, it's got a cookie here. So yeah, so you can see like it's Google Chrome, right? You can see it has a bunch of headers. So whenever you visit a website, all this information is going. Yeah, you can see like I have an Intel Mac and just a bunch of other junk here. And I don't know why it had. Oh, this is probably a cookie that I set from another website. So, some other project. So it's keeping the cookie. I had it probably had another website from on the same port. So I'm going to have a cookie there. So yeah, you leak that information about yourself whenever you visit a website. Does it have a host? Oh yeah, oh no, that's me. Okay, that's the server. And I don't know how to get the IP address. There's other ways that might not be in header. Um, but you can get these different things. And so if you want to like print out, if you want to know, like if you want to know if that's a Mac or a Windows, right? You can look for the platform, and then you would say console. Or I guess you could just. Does that make sense here? So there's all sorts of things you can do to play with the headers.
So
Okay.
you have to put that on, well, you're using recti headers on a route that you're getting information from already, or you can't, or can you use it on your home path, your home route?
Yeah, you can put it on the any path. So I
Okay.
take that away, and so it doesn't mess that one up. Let me just delete that.
I,
So I'll put it over here
I was
like
just
that.
curious if it worked for me, so I was just trying to see.
Yeah, it works from any route or any route. And so if I go back to here
Mhm.
and I just go to the root here, right? I can go back to my and I see, oh, it's on Mac OS, right?
Hmm.
So if Clay were doing that on his server, he'd be able to use this header to detect if you're Mac or Windows, and he could like you could do an if statement like if equals Mac OS, you could like do something like return message like hi Mac user.
Mm.
And let me put that down here. Let me put this one so you can see it. So I'm on a Mac, so it should say, wait, you should do, hmm. Or actually, oh, look at that. No way. Does it have to do this? Is it quoted? Let me try that again. So, yeah. Hmm. Why is it not this server? Weather. I'm thinking that should work. Hmm.
You got double quotes at the end. Should that be there? On line
I'm
10?
not really sure what's going on. Oh, this one? Yeah,
No,
double quotes and single quote over here. Yeah, I'm wondering why there's quotes over here. Oops. That's interesting. Mac OS. I suppose I could do includes. This would be a more, let's see. There we go. True. Oh, shoot. Oh, oh, that's fine. I forgot to I forgot to delete the like that. Okay. That whole thing was I just copied and pasted the console log. So it was saying if console log, but that's not. And you're supposed to oh console.log a Mac user. I'm kind of just kind of spacing out here. This should be res.json. That should do it. Yeah, okay, something like that. So now it says hi Mac user and a Mac user logged in. So if that platform includes that, I can do special information about that. And so like sometimes when you log into a website, it says download the Mac version or download the Windows version. It's able to tell that information from the headers that you yourself are sending. Your browser is sending that. And we're able to set headers with the fetch. So headers is just another way that requests send information back and forth. Let's look at headers real quick, and then we'll take our break. So different ways to send information to the server. This hits the server, and the port tells us how to get to the server. And then the server is going to take care of that route or route, right? This route or route is taken care of by the server. We can also put a question mark um, for the query, right? Then you have the query. And then another way to send information is, of course, the body, if it's a post. And this fourth way, I guess, if you're counting, you can add as many headers as you want to. And some of these headers, a lot of times we put, if we want to have something a little bit more secure than putting it into a URL, sometimes we put it in the header, just in case that URL is kind of leaks somehow. Um, there's another header, a more common way of we can actually see this header um, when we log into Supabase or another. There's a common way to do an auth, which there's different kinds of like one of them is a bearer token, and that is a way to set the header. So I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and that should also set a header. Let's see. It's not gonna. I think that's what that's set. So if I delete that, oh here it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I think if that goes away, yeah, there we go. So you can see that that authorization disappeared. You see that? Watch carefully. See all those headers? There's no authorization in there. I can put in what's called a bearer token. There's different kinds of tokens here. And then I'll just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if I go back to headers, see it automatically sets the authorization here. And it's not going to let me see it. It's okay to let me see it. Come on. Oh well. Um, so it's common to put an authorization token. Did it let you see it? Not let me see it. I can see it over here. So different ways to send information from client to server, and you have to be aware of all the different ways to do it. Different ways to read that information on the server, right? They're all going to be on the request, but check it out. The request.params is the path over here. And then if you have the question mark, that's the query, rec.query, if you remember that. That's another way to get information. You can get into the headers as well. So those are kind of 3 main ways. And Isaac says you can get it. I click there. Hover, hover, hover. Over here I can. I don't know. If I'm under auth, I can see it. Oh, I know how I can see it. Of course I know. I can simply log it out. Watch this. Console.log rec headers authorization. You can't hide from me, can you? There we go. Authorization. Value. It might be that we're on different versions. So if I log that out, it's gonna, if I send it, oh, there it is. Do you see that? That was what's called a bearer token here. So bearer, you see, I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as my bearer token. And this is usually a long string. Um, it's like usually cryptographically signed. It's got a whole bunch of cryptography involved. Obviously, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not that, but usually it's some sort of fairly long token that gets they crunch the numbers in to make sure that you're who you say you are. Or they just compare it as a password. So it says bearer. Okay. So that's how some authorization is done. You'll be able to see that. And you should never log authorization to your, you should never log it out because sometimes the logs are not secure. You should only log it out if you're doing development. But that's how you get, that's how you can pass information. And we're one of the things we're practicing is practicing putting in our own custom header. All right, let's take a break, and I'll open up the breakout rooms for you all to work, and then after that we will let's see, maybe Alfonso, you volunteered, Clay also, and see if Isaac and Sally were ready, and then once you've sure, after the break, maybe Alfonso you can go first, and then Clay, and then if Isaac and Sally are ready. And then after that, I'd like to get back together and you can show me how far you've gotten, or if you're stuck on anything, or if you figure out that sort of filter pattern to only get the date you're interested in and return it onto um, your event. Clay's Clay's sleuthing somebody out. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, you can he's fingerprinting you, right? That's called fingerprinting. Websites actually do this. So they even if you turn off cookies and stuff, or you use a you
Ah,
say no, but maybe you do.
I see it, SMG950F. Huh.
That's some yeah, fingerprinting the browsers. Maybe
That's weird because it says Samsung SM-G950F Apple WebKit using mobile Safari.
uh,
How can you use Safari on an Android device?
um so those aren't always right. They're just saying the closest thing to get the browser to render um,
Right.
the right way. So it may be like a fork of something. Sometimes they um, there's I think there's two or three main um, uh, browsers that are open source, and then the big companies kind of fork them off. They may be doing that to stick it to Google, I wonder. I know Samsung is trying to not use Google. Um, so they may have forked Apple's, um, what's it called? I guess it was called, is it called WebKit?
It does say Chrome,
This
mobile
Chromium.
Safari. I don't know.
Yeah, if you look at, um, they'll they'll list several. Sometimes they'll list, well, if you look at the headers. Headers real quick. Put out the headers one more time. Just want to get all the headers out. And I'll hit that server. I guess it was, let's hit it randomly. And we'll see my headers. There, yeah. So this does the first one is Mozilla, and then the second one is WebKit, and then the last one is Chrome, and well, actually the last one is Safari. And I don't know the order in which they do it. I forget, but they it just indicates it's just to indicate the compatibility. So I think actually this one is me. This oh no, it's not me. Wait. Oh no no no. What? Why would it do that one first? Yeah, because I'm on Chrome and it's giving me Mozilla. So I think it should be this one. I'm on Chrome 143, I would guess. But then it also, I think it also tells you the compatibility with the other browsers. We'd have to look it up. What does it actually what does actually send as a user agent? So mine is sending Apple WebKit even though I'm on Chrome. Yeah, we can look it up. Okay, let me pause and let me let you take a break. Hmm. Hello. All right. Did a quick little bit of research for you. And now's, I think, a good time to know this. I shared a few things. Let me make sure I've got this for you in Slack. All right. So that user agent is kind of like a fossil of the history of the web. And we didn't really mean to get into this today, but just spend maybe 5 minutes talking about this because it's important to know. So that user agent, I'm gonna, you can find the user agent by console logging rec.headers, and you can kind of do a little bit of browser archaeology. So you see that user, that's what that is. That's the request headers. And I want to especially just want to look at that user agent. And when I use Chrome, when I use Google Chrome, that user agent is going to say, watch it, is going to say this. And this just shows the history of Chrome and how it kind of forked off of. And you see Chrome, that's the real one here. And it used to be this. And I think for some reason they all just say that. If I go into Firefox, here's Firefox, access it with Firefox, it's going to say Firefox, but it's also going to say Gecko. Maybe thumbs up if you've ever heard of Gecko. The Gecko engine. This is the engine that it runs. And this one, look, it says like Gecko. Um, and this gets sort of like this is gets in sort of the history of the whole thing. So the image I sent you in Slack over here shows the history of all web browsers. Anybody remember Internet Explorer 4? It shows like it shows how long that uh, was in service. You can go up to um, let's go up to Firefox. So here's Opera. So it shows the timeline. So 1990 to 2024. So way back here, there was a text-based one. And then if anyone was around at the time, there was something called Mosaic. And the first one that was really big was Netscape. So from here, 90, what was that? 93 or 4? Netscape came out, and up until 98, they used something, but not Gecko. And in 1998, they created the Gecko engine. So that was a long time ago. And so they just put that in because this is what a lot of the modern browsers are based on, just for compatibility. So here, Gecko, if we go down here, Gecko, this is what's used right now. So In 97, Netscape develops Gecko. And so what is Gecko? It's under the hood. What are they using to process the HTML? So different browsers. This was especially true a long time ago. Does anybody give me a thumbs up if you remember, like if you open something in a different browser, it would look different. And even today, they'll say you can only use Chrome or you can only use something. Well, that's a compatibility issue. So you can see here, Gecko, Gecko, the Gecko engine underneath the hood of Netscape. I guess it peaked in 2009 and it's still in use today. All right. So that's when I use Firefox to load my server, you're still gonna, that's kind of like this internet archaeology. You'll see like the history of, just to get the compatibility of it, you'll see we used to be Mozilla and then we turned into Gecko and so forth. And this is the actual browser that we're using. Um, let's have a quick look at, this is the Chrome one. So it used to be Mozilla. Oh, no, that's not Google Chrome. Yeah, Mozilla, everybody says that. But then the history is it it forked off of Apple's WebKit. So Chrome used to be WebKit in some way. So if you look at the images, let's see. Mm-mm. Where's Chrome? Over here. Okay, so here's WebKit, which is Apple's, and it comes from over here. It comes from an open source project called KHTML in 98, and then Apple used that open source and forked it, and they called it WebKit. And then you can see over here, um, uh, Google forked WebKit. So they took the WebKit's code and then they called it Blink. And then this is what we use. So that's why it says Apple, because it used to be Apple's WebKit. Okay, it used to be Apple's code, but they forked it and they made improvements on it or whatever. And you can see that's what it's got, I guess, got 76% market share today. And Edge also uses Blink. So this is the C or the C++ code that is running the browser. We never see it, but that's the engine that changes HTML to what we see. And so that's why you're seeing Apple. That's why you're seeing Apple WebKit when you are using Chrome. All right. And that's why you see KHTML, because if you go back in history, Google Chrome took the code from Apple WebKit, and Apple WebKit took the code from KHTML, and that was way back. It started way back in 1998, so that's the start of it. So kind of neat. You can see Microsoft uses something here, and then they gave up on it. Like what this would be like. This would be like Internet Explorer, and then this is over here. This would be Edge. We switch to, oh, I guess it would be over here. Okay, so that that one line of code has a lot of web history. All right, so let me stop the recording here. Oh, somebody has a chat, but yeah, Gecko. Gecko is the what we call the rendering engine underneath Firefox. So if like you search for Gecko rendering Whoops. Gecko rendering thing. You get gecko. I don't know. Gecko is gecko. And there are other browsers that can use that rendering engine if they want to fork it. But you can see there's gecko-based browsers. People actually can, since it's open source, you can actually take that and create your own browser. Desktop browsers. Anything used to be, yeah, nothing I recognize. Yeah, pretty much Gecko is Firefox. Um, and they say it's like Gecko because they forked it off. Okay, so let me stop the recording here, and we go open up the breakout rooms. Mhm.